The No Fake channel, checking in. Jonathan here. It's 2024, costs are high, and I wanted to give you a breakdown of what it will cost to build a shed foundation and what you can expect. Now, there's three main reasons why I'm not building it myself. Number one, first and foremost, I'm not that handy, and it would probably take me 3 or even 4 weeks to build something that wouldn't be nearly as good as a professional having done it. Secondly, as you can probably see, the slope back here is substantial. Shed platform is going all the way back here. I own all of the land behind this rock retaining wall, and I wanted to get as much use out of the land that essentially we were using just to dump our leaves in. And of course, we want to make a level platform for the shed so it doesn't slide off into oblivion after a few years. And clearly, this isn't something that I am capable of, and frankly, I don't think I would do a very good job. And ideally, I can just see myself breaking my back, lugging all of the crushed stone back here, wheelbarrow by wheelbarrow. And third, and almost most important, I'm not that handy.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me, you're not that guy.
Now, like any big construction job, you want to get a number of different quotes. And I called a few contractors, and unfortunately in today's day and age, it is hard to get people to come by. Only 2 people actually managed to give me quotes, and one of those people even never showed up to the site prior to giving me that quote. He worked exclusively off of the photos I sent him and Google Maps. One big factor when it comes to the cost of your shed foundation is, of course, the square footage. Now, shed manufacturers want at least 2 feet on every side for clearance with regards to the shed that you plan to put in there. For us, we figured since we were putting all of the money into building a shed, we might as well go a little bit larger than what is needed, and we are going to be going with a 16 by 18 platform. And once I got back here and actually mapped it out, it is much bigger than I had initially anticipated, and certainly even better or more happy now that I am not actually doing the work myself. So the 2 quotes that I got for this work was $4,900 and $4,000. Both of those were the cash price. There was a difference in paying cash versus check or credit card. So of course we went with the cash price, and we did go with the lowest bid.
It was at this moment that he knew. He f***ed up.
Now, oftentimes you tend to not get good service or a good final product when you go with the lowest bid. The only reason I felt comfortable going with this lowest bid is because the contractor sent me photos of the work that he has done in the past, and it looked really good. And the shed company that I'm hoping to go with actually recommended this individual as a contractor that they use in order to get shed platforms produced. Now, as far as the payment schedule in terms of giving the contractor money, of course, we always want to hold back money to make sure that they actually finish the product. It was 50% of the pay due on the first day of construction, and then the final 50% due when it is finished. And I actually like that because you don't actually have to pay in advance. At least you know that the person has shown up, and you can see that the contractor actually came in advance and dropped off some supplies that he is going to need for the work.
Thank you for using my affiliate links, but using those affiliate links, which are in the description of today's video, not only keeps this ice bath so cold, it'll make inflation shrink. It does go to help give back. So let me know when you use those links so that I can send you a small token of my appreciation.
Before we see the final product, before I go full Thanos and snap my fingers and we see how beautiful, hopefully, the final shed platform is going to be, I want you to comment below. Did I get a great price for a 16 by 18 foundation all the way back here down the slope of my backyard for $4,000 cash, or did I get grossly ripped off?
3 weeks later.
What a difference 2 weeks makes. And as you can see, the shed platform is absolutely completed, but it wasn't without some massive hiccups. The first guy who had come here spent about 30 minutes to an hour working the area, only to call me out and say that he could not do the job. And unfortunately, he didn't have the right equipment, the pitch was too steep, and I think he bit off more than he could chew without actually having come out here and surveyed the land.
Did that go the way you thought it was going to go? Nope.
I don't really fault him. I'm glad that he told me in advance before taking any of my money, and And frankly, before getting started, only to tell me like down the road that nope, it wasn't gonna happen, or even worse, do the job, but do a horrible version of the job and leave me holding the bag. So I went back to the person who had actually come out and visited this site and asked them to come out one more time, see if they could handle the job, look at the scope of the work now that some of the area had been uncovered and you could see what a massive gradient it was. He came out, looked at the job, said no problem. 3 days later, we're done. The contractor even had the idea to add what I would call like an inlet, a way to get down to the shed. Originally, I'd planned to just kind of hoof it straight down from the house, but the gradient is extremely steep. And while I think getting down would have been okay, getting back up with the lawn tractor and even the snowblower would have been difficult. I had never thought of adding like a ramp section to get down here. Reason being, I didn't even fathom the amount of equipment that it would need or that he even had it. But sure enough, he shows up with an excavator and a plow, and before I know it, he blows through all of the dead wood and branches and all this muck back here and builds this great thing, and it looks fantastic. And what's the beauty of it is, it's opening up a whole bunch of property that I owned but wasn't able to use because it was all wooded in with like years and years of leaves and dead vines and everything else in between. Now, one of the things we're going to be doing before the shed gets here is to actually basically put as much effort and energy into making this path nice and making sure that it's going to be around for a while. So we are going to rock the sides of this path in order to kind of outline it and give us an area that we know we need to keep clean in the fall of leaves. We're also going to add grass to it in order to make sure that it doesn't run off in terms of the water whenever we get like a massive 2-inch or even a 3-inch rain, to make sure that the dirt doesn't just kind of go down the side and never to be seen again. Overall, I'm extremely happy with the work. I thought they did a fantastic job. They worked their butts off. They actually did way more and much better of a job than I even imagined. $4,600 cash, I thought was a great deal considering it took 2 guys, 3 full days, 3 8-hour days of just getting down here. Not only did they have the excavator, all their equipment, all the wood that they paid for out of their own pocket, obviously, they had 2 massive truckloads of crushed stone brought in here, and they did a fantastic job. They were even going around clipping all of the vines and roots of the trees that they had to push over and knock over to really clean this place up. I mean, I was so impressed with how hard they worked and the great job that they did and how well they left the area. They really left it rather spotless in terms of just turnkey ready for us to put the shed in, that I made sure to drop them a tip at the end of their work because frankly, I think I got a steal at $4,600. Comment down below, do you think I overpaid for this amount of work? Clearly, I know that the materials don't cost $4,600, but the work itself was massive. I mean, 2 guys, 3 full days, truckloads of crushed stone and all this wood, let alone the power tools and the excavator that they had to use to get it all done. I feel like $4,600 was a solid deal, and frankly, I'm glad I paid the money.
Pay that man his money.
Now, had I done the work myself, yeah, I might have been able to save some money, but there is no way in God's green earth that I would have been able to actually clear this path through the woods and all of the trees and branches and roots and years of decomposing leaves to boot. It just never would have happened. It never would have been as good. So even if I did it myself and saved a boatload of money, never would have been as perfect as this location is now. And I'm very, very happy with the work that they did. And now it's time. It is time for my final thoughts on shed platforms. Now, everyone's going to be different in terms of the size and the location of what you need, so the cost is going to vary. Hopefully, this gives you at least an idea of the work and the size compared to the cost that I had to pay. To give you a perspective of what you should be thinking about or looking at, I would recommend getting as many quotes as possible and making sure they actually come to your home. So many people want to just look at Google Maps, or they want you to send them a few photos, and sometimes if you've got a really weird area like I did down here, it just doesn't do it justice. No matter how many videos or photos you take of it, you need to get them here in person. So the game plan is to find the right shed. I've narrowed it down to 2 companies, and ultimately I'm going to make my decision. Price point wise, they look to be about the same, and I'm going to talk about that more in depth in a future video, go over the cost, go over what we picked, but ultimately it's going to be 12 by 16. Now the shed companies need 2 feet on each side in order to build the shed. So they needed a big platform, but I actually went larger. Even though I was going with a 12 by 16, I wanted to go larger because I figured we're already putting in the money to have them come out and do the work. Might as well just take advantage of the fact that they're already here and build a bigger area. Even if we don't use it, we'll at least have it. And 12 by 16 is big. Whenever you step into a shed that's that big, you don't realize how much space that actually has. But with this family and the fact that the kids are only getting more toys and bikes and scooters, I'm sure we're gonna be using up all that space in no time. If you made it this far in the video,
Did we just become best friends?
Yup!
the best thing you can do to help support the channel besides click the affiliate links is simply watch another video. I am gonna be doing a full shed breakdown and frankly give you a final tour of the path once this is all spruced up and we've been able to add in grass. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. As usual, thanks for watching and don't save anything for the trip back.